Hello, 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 Aries placement. Happy birthday season. We just entered Aries season, March 21st, and it's going to be lasting until Taurus season, which comes in around April 21st as well. And we started the season off with a bang. Like, literally, all of the shifts that are happening, well, all of the major shifts that are happening within astrology are happening in Aries season. Like, it's just interesting because Aries season is typically like new beginnings, a fresh start, spring is starting, and then all of these shifts are happening too, which are bringing in new beginnings, new energies. So it's all Aries energy, it's all new beginnings, it's all just like new. This is a very, 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 very important time of the year, astrologically, energy wise, because remember, astrology just explains, it does not cause, right? So, speaking of new, I'm actually doing something new today. So, I don't do this normally, but I felt like I wanted to mix up my content. If you know me, I've been studying astrology. Everybody's always like, you're lying. But I've been studying astrology since I was 6 years old. Yes, 6 years old. My interest started when I used to live with my grandmother when I was young. We all did. I come from a family of immigrants, so we all used to live in one house. So I grew up with not just my siblings, but my cousins as well. So my grandmother used to always get the morning newspaper every morning on her porch, and I would read the newspaper. I love reading the newspaper when I was younger. And of course, I would stumble across the horoscope column, and that's when my interest for astrology started. Because when I was younger, I didn't just like get into something and then leave it at that. I got into something and then I became obsessed with it. So obviously as a Leo too, learning about yourself is just so fun, and astrology is all about that. So I started taking out books in the library. Yes, I was taking out books in the library as young as 6. You can ask my mother. And I was just getting to it. I wasn't understanding some of the things that I was reading, of course, but I've been studying it off and on, more so on than off since about age 6. So I've always been into astrology, but I feel like a lot of people on the internet know me from my platform for my decoding and for my psychic abilities, and also astrology a little bit too, but not as much astrology. But I want to start uh, showing my astrological knowledge and sharing some wisdom through the concept of astrology, because I'm just getting into it a lot more. I'm always going to be into astrology. I talk about it all the time on my page, so you guys know, but I'm blending it a lot more with my decodings and my channelings just to max out the predictions and to understand completely from all aspects where the energy of the world is going. So, I wanted to do something different with my predictions that I do for the signs. So the Einstein tablets dropped on the 21st. If you did not grab a copy, link will be in the bio. It is an important document or guidebook, I like to say, or an almanac, honestly, an occult almanac for the month that basically guides us on what we need to know for the month, spiritually and energetically, astrologically as well, and how we can prepare for it, how we can move with the waves of the universe during a given period of time. So get the Einstein tablets because I go through all of the signs and basically like, just a cute little paragraph on, or more than a paragraph, a page on what each sign can be expecting for the month. Well, in this case, Aries season, and how to prepare for it, what you need to do, spiritual advice, all of that good stuff. So because it is Aries season and it is the birthday of my Aries placements, I wanted to give you guys a little bit more. I wanted to take it to the next level, you guys. So we are going to be doing a full breakdown for Aries season for my Aries placements on just what you can expect for this season, not just on a psychic level, but astrologically as well. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to reread the passage from the Einstein tablets, whether you got it or not. This is just my psychic knowledge. I didn't use astrology for these breakdowns. And then I'm going to introduce some astrology, okay? So, Aries, let me put on my seductive reading voice, okay? Bedtime stories with Indy now, okay. So now I feel pressure to make the voice sound seductive. I'm just kidding about that. Okay, maybe a little bit, I don't know. Um, I won't say that. Okay. So, Aries, this is your season. The energy of passion, motivation, and vitality should all be backing you, and they are, but in an overwhelming way. This month, you are going to be experiencing mental conflict because there are so many things you want to manifest, but you don't know where to start, what to do, or how to get your desired destination or get to your desired destination. This may physically manifest as headaches. What you need to do this month is prioritize your main goals, set a plan, and use your intuition to guide you to what you need to place your focus on. I'm also seeing that the headaches you will be having is due to a third eye blockage. There's energy trying to activate your third eye to increase your intuition, but it is fighting against the blockages. So make it easier by working with that area. You also may be prone to spiritual attacks and evil eye, which can also be causing the headaches. Up your spiritual protection, move in silence, and do a spiritual bath/cleanse. There's also a need to make sure your body is properly detoxing every day, so focus on improving your digestion and your lymphatic drainage system, and look into doing a detox of some sort. Aries, I also see you retreating this month. You may find you prefer to stay home or you don't have the energy to socialize. Others may feel like you're isolating yourself. This is because all of your energy is going towards these ideas you have, but also it's best to keep to yourself this month due to the amount of evil eye that is on you. This is the perfect time then to do some inner child healing, to catch up on some reading, to learn something new, and to handle any important responsibilities in the home. You may find this month your family/home is your priority as well. So when I was tapping into, the energy of Aries and I was talking to Spirit, this is basically what they said you guys could be expecting, right? So if you want to listen to that again, you can. So now what we're going to be doing is taking not only the astrology, but the predictions I had for the month to month to basically see how your month is going to go. So this is like a deeper dive into this paragraph that I just wrote. So on the 23rd of March, Pluto is moving into Aquarius. If we are looking at whole sign astrology, this would mean, or at least when it comes to like the houses, right? This would mean that basically Aquarius is transiting your 11th house. Now, obviously, if you are going by degrees when it comes to houses, you might already find that Pluto has been in your 11th house. But let's just look at it from the aspect of Pluto transiting your 11th house. So, Pluto is the planet of transformations. It is the shadow side of something. It deals with death and rebirth, so the resurrection process. It deals with power and control. It also has to do with obsessions. It exposes the darkness of something and brings these dark qualities to the surface. It has to do with, again, transformations, tower moments, the underworld, our psyche, so on and so forth. And Aquarius is the sign of society, social media, science, technology, rebellion, the community, our communities, the future, advancements, freedom, the consciousness of society, and financial systems. Pluto hasn't been in Aquarius in a while. To give you context, actually, I believe the last time Pluto was in Aquarius, correct me if I'm wrong, was when we had the French Revolution, or they had the French Revolution. So for you, Aquarius, this is happening in your 11th house. So all of these transformations that are going on with this Aquarius energy, the shadow of the Aquarius energy, the death and rebirth of Aquarius energy, all of these things are going to be affecting you through your 11th house. So the 11th house is actually ruled by Aquarius. So the 11th house is our connection to society. It is our connection to our humanity. It is our connection to our friend groups, our social circles, social media, the outside world, how we connect with the outside world. That's basically the 11th house. So, Aries, the way that you connect with the outside world is going to be going through huge transformations. Mind you, Pluto's going to be in Aquarius for about 20 years. So, this is a long-term thing. So, don't think that this is going to be affecting you completely for 20 plus years. As soon as it starts and as soon as it ends, you're going to feel it completely. But it's it's going to affect us, obviously, but it's going to have cycles and highs and lows and things like that. But basically, for the most part, your position in society in some way is changing. You might find that you're going to have a rise. You might find that you're going to have a fall. You might find that you're going to be way more connected to society or way more detached from society. You might find that society is going to see you in a new light, for better or for worse. Your friend groups may change because the people that you resonate with are going to change. When I think of Pluto, I like to think of something like rising, 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 hitting its peak and then falling to resurrect basically. So the reason why I feel like it works that way is because I feel like Pluto has to go up and reach its peak so we can feel the peak energy. I feel like we don't learn about like the shadow of something until we're like in the thick of it, right? So I feel like Pluto has to have this Aquarius energy rise. So we're going to see so many advancements when it comes to society, social media, technology, science, so on and so forth. It's going to be at its peak. It's going to feel good. Then it's going to have to fall because the darkness of these things are going to eventually crumble. And then once it falls, we learn why it fell, and then we rebuild after that. So you might go through something similar with your 11th house. You might have some advancements first, feel the peak of it, and then have a fall, and then rebuild after that. You don't have to have a fall though. I'm just saying. Pay attention to whatever placements are also in your 11th house because that's going to basically help you to see exactly how you're going to feel. So, for example, if you have your sun in the 11th house, this is going to have to do with your identity. The sun is ruled, the sun has to do with like who we are, what we're working towards, what motivates us, what we identify as, but also in a way fame. So maybe if you have your sun in the 11th house, people's view on you, your reputation in some way is going to be affected by this. But let's say you have your, I don't know, your moon in the 11th house, you might find that all of these things that are happening with Pluto and Aquarius are going to affect you emotionally to the point where maybe you don't really want to participate in society and you're going to retreat more so to yourself, or you're going to save yourself for more intimate connections, or you're going to become more intimate with society and just let the world into your feelings or let the world influence your feelings. Okay, so how this exactly will affect you is going to have to do with your personal natal chart. You would have to get like a personal reading to do that. Um, but yeah, personal reading, I mean, just like with any astrologer, I'm not saying necessarily me because I don't necessarily market myself as an astrologer anymore. I used to do astrology readings. I stopped. They became way too overwhelming because I'm somebody who, when it comes to astrology, again, I can become very obsessed with it. So I was doing 25 to 40 page reports and it was draining the life out of me because if I'm telling you about your life, I'm going in, okay? I'm not just giving you no little 5 page. No, we are going to get to the nitty gritty, but that was taking too much of my energy. So I only reserve that for people who have worked with me before. So my repeat clients, my return clients, those are the people who get that from me. So yeah, any astrologer, or if you've done a reading with me before and we work together and you are interested in that, sure. Okay. So that's on the 23rd of March is when this is going to start, and then it's going to continue for the next 20 years. But on the 23rd of March, actually, I'm not going to say that because I would be giving too much of the tablets away. I was going to do like a day by day breakdown, but that would be too much. Like, I'd be giving too much of the tablets away. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to stick to the astrological transits, okay? So on the 25th of March, Mars is going to be entering Cancer. So this is going to be your fourth house. So the fourth house is the house of family. It's the house of the things that we experience on an emotional level, or the things that we interact with on an emotional level. So this is family, our home, like the things or the people that see us at our most vulnerable, I feel like, because the fourth house is the IC, and the IC is like the deepest part of you, basically. So think of the moon placement. That's the IC, but the IC, in my opinion, um, how do I describe this? I just view the effects of planets and houses differently. I have a natal Mercury retrograde, so it's kind of hard to express myself sometimes, or like what I'm trying to like. My brain will have so much going on, and I'm like, how do I get this into the English language? But basically, what I'm trying to say is, I feel like the moon is like our connection to our emotions, our inner selves, our reactions, what we need to, um, what we basically need, right? Our emotional needs. Then I feel like the IC is where we experience the deepest sides of ourselves, and also what else is going to experience the deepest sides of ourselves. Does that make sense? So it's like the fourth house is your home. Obviously, your home sees you in ways that other people will not. And then obviously, you are going to express yourself in ways that you wouldn't in public in your home. Family, same thing. Your family sees you differently than the public is going to see you, whether it's the family you grew up with or the family that you are creating. Um, Fourth house also deals with not only family and home, but again, our deepest emotional self. I also like to put the inner child there. The children that we create, fertility, so on and so forth. So Mars moving into the fourth house for my Aries placements, you guys are going to be having an activation in these areas. Because when I think of Mars energy, I like to think of activation. Mars is a planet that activates, motivates, causes tension and aggression, but tension and aggression can wake energy up, right? Mars is a very energizing planet. So our fourth house for my Aries placements, it's going to be activating your emotional self, maybe activating your home, activating your connection to family, activating your fertility. So you might find that at this moment you're going to be a little bit more fertile. At this moment you're going to be a little bit more emotional. At this moment you're going to be putting a lot more energy into your home. At this moment you're going to be putting a lot more energy into your family. Mars can also be a combative planet that brings, again, tension and aggression. So there might be some tension within your home, some tension with your family, some tension with your emotions. Maybe you are starting to feel a little bit more angry or aggressive, or as I should say, with Cancer energy is more passive aggressive, right? So you guys are going to be feeling that very deeply. And on that same day, the moon is entering Gemini. So you might feel, not to say that like as soon as Mars enters Cancer, you're going to feel this right away. I don't like to look at like transits like that, especially a little bit more long-term transits. Like if we're thinking about the moon, yeah, but when it's a little bit long-term, like anything that's a month or more, I don't necessarily say it's going to happen as soon as the shift happens. But with moon entering Gemini that day, you might find that you are going to be a little bit more emotionally expressive. Some important conversations with family might be happening for the next few days. So, from like the 25th to the 27th, you might find that some tension with family is happening, especially through conversation or with some information coming out. You might also find that you're expressing yourself again more emotionally in some way. Cancer also has to do with the past and nostalgia, so you might also find that for the next few days you are going to be thinking of some things from the past that in some way activates you, maybe activate your anger or your sadness or just some other emotion. And then the day after that, so then the 26th, the moon in Gemini in your third house is actually going to be sextiling the sun in Aries in your first house. So to me, sextiles are opportunity. So you might find that this emotional expression or thinking emotionally in some way is going to serve as an opportunity for you to um, basically express yourself through your appearance. or the way that you appear to others. So for some of you, this could be your physical appearance. So maybe there is some emotional shift that is happening within you consciously that is going to cause you to maybe want to do something different with your look. And this different thing that you're doing with your look is showcasing how you feel in the moment or the energy that you're trying to tap into at the moment. So maybe you're dyeing your hair red because you're feeling very dark feminine, or maybe you're dyeing your hair black because you're feeling a little bit in your shadow energy, or you just want more protection, you want to be a little bit more low key. Maybe you're getting a piercing, maybe you're getting a tattoo. It's very interesting because I'm actually getting a tattoo and I'm dyeing my hair. So this is this is very accurate for sure, I would say. But yeah, so but if it's not physical, it just in some way, like the way that you express yourself to other people is going to be driven by your emotions in some way. And with Mars and Aries being involved, I feel like this is going to be something that's either exciting, something that is intense, or something that's a little bit more aggressive or combative. So also be mindful of being a little bit more defensive at this moment, because Mars and Cancer people can be pretty defensive. So just be mindful of that. But it is sextile. So again, I like to think of sextile as more of an easy thing, more opportunity than anything. If it was square, I would be like, yeah, like calm down. But with sextile, this is something that I feel like will benefit you. Then on the 27th, Mercury in Aries is going to be conjuncting Jupiter in Aries. So this is a time for the collective where we're just going to be feeling very excited and confident about our ideas and the things that we want to do, to the point where we're going to want to act on them, and we're going to want to act on them fast, even to the point where we might be a little impulsive. So for you guys, this is happening in your first house. So this could be connected to what I was saying before about like the appearance change, or just the shift in the way that society or other people view you, or a shift in the way that you approach the world and other people. Like the ascendant is about the way that you carry yourself. So that does have to do with physical appearance, but I don't want it to just be the focus of the first house. It has to do with the way that you carry yourself in society. So yeah, the way that you dress, the way that you look, but also just the way that you move, the way that you communicate. So you're going to be coming off like a lot more energized, a lot more confident, maybe even a lot more talkative, because we do have Mercury, which has to do with our way of communicating with others, and also our mindsets, our consciousness, and our ideas. So just something right now, and then conjunct Jupiter, which is an expansion planet. So just we are expanding the way we think for the next week from the 27th and the week after that. And because we're expanding the way that we think, or we are expanding on our ideas, it is going to affect the way that we communicate with the world and the way that the world communicates with us. For the most part, it's going to be very energetic, very confident. So I don't necessarily get the worst energy from this, but also Aries energy and Jupiter coming together is kind of like too much excitement, too much energy, to the point where it can become overconfident or over impulsive. And then with that conjuncting Mercury, it's like with your like words and ideas, you might be too confident with your words, too impulsive with the things that you're saying, too confident in an idea that might not be the best thing to move on just yet. So just be mindful of that and how that affects your appearance and the way that you carry yourself. Make sure you're still keeping it classy, and make sure any appearance shifts that you are making is something that you're going to agree with after the week. Also on that day, the 27th, the moon in Gemini, which is your third house, is going to be squaring Neptune and Pisces in your 12th house. So this is like, square is tension. So this is tension between your conscious mind, your conscious ideas, and your conscious forms of communication. This is tension with that versus your subconscious mind, your subconscious way of thinking, your subconscious way of communicating. So this could be a day where like you want to do some things, or you have certain ideas consciously, but they are not in alignment with what is going on in your subconscious realm. or your spiritual realm. So maybe some of the things that you want to do consciously is being blocked because our subconscious mind, in my opinion, has more control over us than our conscious mind. We like to think that our conscious mind is driving, but a lot of the times our subconscious mind, in my opinion, is driving. So that of course has to do with like how much control you have over yourself as well. But yeah, so there's just a battle between like what we think we want to do on a conscious level, but then what our subconscious wants to do. This is a day where you might have a battle with your inner demons or just the parts of your mind that you don't explore that actually do have influence over you. This could also be a day where you just kind of feel like, because the moon coming together with anything Piscean, I just think of sleeping. So you might, sorry, you might also be very sleepy this day. So maybe you want to do something, but you're just too tired. So maybe you should just focus on getting rest and then save anything else for the next day. And also, any ideas that you have that day or around that time, you may think you want to do it, but it could be because of something going on with you mentally on a subconscious level or on a spiritual level. So just make sure that things are in alignment. Then the next day, the moon, so the 28th, the moon is moving into Cancer, your fourth house. So we're going from being a little bit more mental with our reactions and going more emotional. So with the moon joining up with your Mars, you might find that you're feeling a little bit more emotionally aggressive at this time. You might be a little easily annoyed. And with the moon entering Cancer for the next few days, you just find that maybe you just want to retreat, focus on some inner work, or just focus on being home, laying low, dealing with your emotions, because you are going to be a little bit more sensitive around this time. Then the day after that, on the 29th, moon in Cancer in your fourth house is going to be squaring Jupiter and Aries in your first house. So all of that energy you had a few days prior, you might find, I don't have time for this. Like maybe things that you signed yourself up for before, it's just not clicking. It's not working because, you kind of want to retreat, but that energy you had before might have signed you up for some things. So around the 27th, make sure that everything that you're signing yourself up for, you actually want to do, because in a few days after that, you might actually find that you don't have as much energy as you previously thought. Then on the 30th, the moon is entering Leo in your fifth house. So this is the house of creativity, the house of romance, taking risks, socializing, your inner child, but your inner child from more of a like creative standpoint than an emotional standpoint. So you might find around this time that you're going to be socializing a little bit more, coming out of your shell. You're going to be a little bit more creative. And on that same day, Mars in Cancer and your fourth house is going to be trining Saturn and Pisces in your 12th house for the next 2 or so weeks. So around this time as a collective, we have been feeling like drained or just tired, not really motivated. This is going to be 2 weeks where we're finally going to be a little bit more disciplined, or it's encouraged for us to be a little bit more disciplined at this time and get all of the like big girl and big boy responsibilities out of the way. So you might find that doing this, becoming a little bit more disciplined and responsible at this time is going to naturally basically boost your mental health, because our 12th house has to do with like our subconscious mind, which is our mental health. So you might find that you are mentally going to feel some relief because you're getting some things out of the way. You might also find at this time that being extremely spiritually disciplined might actually help with any emotional anger or aggression or tension that you have been dealing with. So this is the perfect time to fast, to do a detox. I know Ramadan is happening at this time, so you might find that, Ramadan is positively affecting you and like your connection to your emotions or your family. Also, this day, Venus and Taurus in your second house is going to be conjuncting Uranus and Taurus in your second house. So, with this transit happening for the collective, this is a time where we're going to be a little bit more experimental, especially when it comes to our desires, our relationships, our relationship to money, our spending habits, things like that. So, with this happening in your second house, you might find that there are some changes happening within your life when it comes to your income or your finances. Because it is a planet Venus, it might be a little bit more harmonious, so for the better. There are some changes that are happening that are allowing you to experiment a little bit more. So, maybe you are going to utilize the small increase in your finances in some way to invest into something that you normally wouldn't, or to finally splurge on something you normally wouldn't. You also might be spending a little bit more money on things that might enhance your beauty in some way. Or you might have a brand new idea around this time that is going to maybe help to increase your finances. So maybe this is a new business idea or just a new side hustle, or you're getting some money in at this moment that you normally wouldn't get, that you're going to be investing into a new project. Then the day after that, on the 31st, the moon in Leo in your fifth house is going to be trining the sun in Aries in your first house. So maybe some of these appearance changes that you have been making, you want to show to the world right now, and or maybe these appearance changes you've been doing, or this shift in the way that you carry yourself is going to be attracting a little bit more attention. You might be wanting to be a little bit more creative with your look or the way that you carry yourself. This is just a very creative and confident time. So it's mixing confidence and creativity, or confidence and appearance. And it looks like some good energy. Then we go into April. So April 2nd, the moon is going to move into Virgo, into your second house. So you're going to have a little bit more of a focus on your health, self-improvement, your diet, your mental health. Then on the 3rd of the month, the 3rd of April, Mercury is going to be moving into Taurus, into your second house. So this is going to be slowing down this Aries energy for you. So you might not be spending as quickly as you have been in the past. You might not be spending as much money. You might be holding on to it a little bit more. You might be making smarter investments that you have been thinking about for a long time, or investments that you know will carry into the far future. For the next month or so, basically, when it comes to like your thoughts and your ideas, they're going to be based around like maybe how you can make more money, or how you can grow your income, looking at your assets, just making sure that your finances are stable, and your foundations as well. That same day, Mercury in Taurus in your second house is going to be squaring Pluto in Aquarius in your 11th house. And this is going to last for about a week. So these investments that you're making, or this new approach that it has when it comes to your income, the slower approach that you're taking, in some way is going to be having tension with your connection to society, social media, social groups, so on and so forth. So you might find that some of these ideas that you're having may not be in alignment with other groups that you are attached to, your social circles, so on and so forth, or the name that you have already built for yourself when it comes to society. So maybe it's like you have a new way of making money, or you want to invest into something, but it's not something that you feel like you've done before, or it's not something that you feel like you're just worried about if an investment or a way of making money, like a new way of making money that you're trying to get into, is going to actually last, or if it's actually going to be successful, because this might be a shift from how the world sees you currently. So you're kind of nervous, or this might be, something that society isn't necessarily into right now. So you're like, should I make this investment, or should I start this new business or this way of making money? Or should I just stick to what I know? So there's just some sort of a disconnect between the way you're thinking in that moment, especially in terms of finances and income and your assets, versus society, and basically what has the power in society right now, or your social groups. So maybe your friends want to go out and do X, Y, and Z, but you're trying to save money. It could be as small as that. It doesn't have to be like the biggest deal in the world. But also, the second house is the things that we value, not just the financial things or the physical things, but also the way that we value ourselves. So there might be some things going on with our friend groups, or social media, or society, that is causing us maybe to question our self-worth, or maybe a shift that we're having in our self-worth is causing us to question the people that we hang out with, or it's causing us to question the way that we put ourselves out there when it comes to society and social media and, just the world at large. Then on the 5th of the month, we have the full moon in Libra. So this is happening in your 7th house. So the full moon in Libra, I'm going to make a whole separate video on the full moon in Libra when the time comes. But basically, to sum it up, full moon in Libra is a time where I feel like there's going to be major conclusions that are coming about when it comes to our relationships, whether it's romantic relationships or just our relationships with other people. Truths coming out about relationships, truths coming out that are going to help us to have clarity to move forward. Truths coming out, maybe if you are involved in anything legal, there's finally going to be a settlement, or finally, like, you guys are going to come to an agreement, because Libra energy is also about balance and cooperation. So maybe there's a judgment made where you have to cooperate or meet somebody in the middle, even if it's not legal. Like, just around this time, you're realizing you have to meet somebody or something in the middle in order for it to move forward, or it's just not going to work at all. So with this happening in the 7th house, this has to do with your partnerships. If you're married, your marriage. This has to do with your relationships to other people and your ability to relate to other people. This also has to do with, again, if there's anything going on with legal issues, it will be happening for you around this time. Then on the 7th of the month, Venus in Taurus in your 2nd house is going to be sextiling Neptune and Pisces in your 12th house. So sextiles, again, are all about opportunities. So you might find that your connection to your spirituality, or your ability to be compassionate and charitable, or your subconscious mind, there's going to be an opportunity to utilize those things to increase your income, or to make money. So this could be a good day to do some money magic, or a good time to do some money magic. This could be a good time to invest into something that's going to help others. So maybe making a donation. This is also a good time, maybe if you want to sponsor somebody, to put some money into somebody that you could see that is also an investment, sponsoring somebody else. It's going to be able to help somebody else, and then you're going to get profit from it in the future. This also might be a good time to monetize some form of art that you create. So maybe if you're a painter, or you're a singer, or whatever the case may be, whatever you consider to be art, this might be a good time to monetize it, or to start investing into it to make it something that can bring you money in the future. Maybe on the opposite side, somebody's actually going to decide to invest into you and invest into your art, or invest into something that you want to see come, to fruition in the future. Then on the 10th of the month, Venus is going to be entering Gemini in your 3rd house. So you're going to find between now and the next month or so that you are going to be more stimulated mentally. So you might find that around this time you're going to have a thirst for knowledge, or you're going to meet somebody maybe on a romantic level who just you have great conversations with, or they just really stimulate your mind. This energy is also going to benefit your mindsets and your daily habits and rituals. So you might find that at this time, beautifying yourself is going to help you to be a little bit more mentally disciplined, or a little bit more optimistic for the future. You might find this in general when it comes to your mindset. Your mind isn't going to be, too chaotic. And if it is chaotic, it's going to be easily managed by you. You might be starting a new beauty routine at this time. Just your way of thinking is going to be more centered around being as balanced and at peace and harmonious with everything around you as much as possible. You're not looking for anything too crazy or chaotic right now. Something stimulating and exciting, yeah, but you also are going to just want life to be peaceful, because maybe you just kind of want your mind to finally be at peace. Maybe you've been dealing with a chaotic mind, or just feeling overwhelmed or a little anxious. So around this time, I feel like you're just going to be implementing things into your everyday routine that's going to allow you to have some peace and balance. And then around this time as well, Venus and Gemini in your third house is going to be trining Pluto and Aquarius in your 11th house. And this is going to last for about a week. So everything that I just said about Venus and Gemini is naturally going to be benefiting your 11th house energy. So your connection to social media, your connection to your friends, your connection to society, social circles, and networking is just going to be a little bit more harmonious at this time. Maybe people are going to be seeing you in a more peaceful way. People are going to be accepting your ideals and your words in a more peaceful way. The way that you express yourself is just going to be more attractive to other people in whatever way that is for the people who are taking in your words and ideas. Because Aries, this is a time where people have just been seeing you as very combative, and just criticizing you. So you're going to finally get some relief at this time. People are just going to be agreeing with you a little bit more, or just going easier on you, especially when it comes to expressing yourself or the ideas that you have. And putting these ideas and this expression on social media or expressing them to your friends or your social circles. This is a good time for networking. And you're just going to have a stronger desire to share what you know or to share your ideas with the outside world. So, if you have been wanting to, I don't know, start some sort of business or project that involves social media and communication. So, for example, a podcast, it might be a little bit more well received during this week. Especially because at this time, not only is the sun in Aries going to be conjuncting Jupiter in Aries in your first house, but your moon is also going to be, well, not your moon, but the moon, transit moon, is going to be entering Capricorn for the next 2 or so days. And this is your 10th house. So, this is the perfect time where if you are wanting to start some sort of business venture that has to do with social media and communication and things like that, it's going to be well received by the public. And again, also a very good time to network and to put yourself out there, especially in terms of your career or of something that you're doing with a business, especially because not only are you going to be well received at this time, but you're going to be very confident and have a lot of energy to just put yourself out there and to, impress others and show people what you got. On the 12th of April, the moon in Capricorn and your 10th house is going to be trining Uranus and Taurus in your second house. So basically, everything I just said about networking and starting a new business or putting your business out there or focusing on your career in some way is going to have a positive effect on your finances or your income. On the 14th of the month, Venus and Gemini in your third house is going to be squaring, so having some tension with Saturn and Pisces in your 12th house, and this is going to last for about a week. So, collectively, this is going to just be a time where the things that we're indulging in and socializing and our desires might be distracting us and also maybe impacting our mental health in a negative way, or we're just like not really being as disciplined as we might have been before, especially in terms of our mental health, our spirituality, and things like that. So maybe this thirst for knowledge or just this thirst to connect with people on social media or this new connection that you started where maybe you're talking to this person all of the time is starting to either become a negative habit or starting to affect you mentally. So there might be a need to just take a step back for a little bit, to detox from social media for a little bit. Remember, this is only lasting a week. So it just might be a need to like just take a step back a little bit, especially because moon is going to be in Aquarius in your 11th house. So maybe these things are just starting to affect you a little bit more emotionally, especially when it comes to like social media and socializing. So just take a step back for the next week or so. Don't put too much of your energy into these things because they're starting to throw off your routine, or it's causing you to overindulge in things and develop new destructive habits that you probably shouldn't, right? On the 16th of the month, the moon in Pisces in your 12th house is going to be sextiling Mercury and Taurus in your second house. So pay attention to your dreams. Normally, when the moon enters Pisces in your 12th house, this is when like our dreams start to get a little bit more active, or we start to get a little bit more sleepy, or we're just connecting to the spiritual realm a little bit more. So this is going to cause some sort of opportunity for your second house. So maybe you're going to dream of something that's going to bring in more finances for you, or maybe you're going to have a lot of signs and synchronizations, or have some visions, or just receive some messages from your spiritual team that are going to help you financially. Or maybe there's some ideas that are being thrown at you from the universe that you are going to be able, or you're being advised to invest into. On the 18th of the month, the moon in Aries in your first house is going to be squaring Mars in Cancer in your fourth house. So this is a very emotionally sensitive time, a very aggressive and annoying time. You might feel a little bit more annoyed, a little bit more angry at this time. And with it in your first house, you might let it affect the way that you carry yourself. So you might come off a little bit more combative, a little bit more defensive. So just be mindful that you're not projecting anything onto other people at this time due to what you have going on emotionally. Then we end Aries season off with Moon and Aries in your first house conjuncting Jupiter and Aries in your first house. So you're going to be a little bit more optimistic than you were the day or two before, where you were feeling very aggressive, very angry, and there was there was a lot of tension. You might be feeling a little bit more positive right now, a little bit more just over it and ready to start something new, start something fresh. Just be mindful though that these feelings that you were having, these emotional, sensitive feelings that you were having, don't, because Jupiter and Aries could be like a powerhouse, but not always for the best, especially if it's just like doing too much. So you might find that when it comes to your emotions that you might be doing too much. So try to direct that energy to be more on the optimistic side of Jupiter versus the overconfident or over aggressive side of Jupiter. And then we end off with a bang with the new moon in Aries solar eclipse. We already had a new moon in Aries on the 21st of March, but we're coming in for round two, and it's with the bang because it is a solar eclipse. So basically, this energy, the actions that we take, the things that are happening are going to be affecting us for the next 6 months. So it is a very, very, very important transit. I'm going to be making a separate video or audio on this, either on YouTube or on my membership site. So definitely join that. But basically, just think back to how the new moon in Aries affected you on March 21st. It's going to be that part two, but more intense. So this is happening in your first house. So the way that you carry yourself, the way that you approach the world, your appearance, so on and so forth. So there is some newness, some new beginnings happening around those things, and whatever new beginnings you start around those things are going to affect you for the next 6 or so months. And this is happening at the 29th degree. So this is like peak energy. It's the Leo degree and it's peak energy. And that day, the moon is going to be conjuncting Jupiter in your first house, is going to be sextiling Saturn in your 12th house, is going to be squaring Pluto in your 11th house. So, yeah, it's a lot going on. Also, conjuncting the North Node in your second house. So this is your first house of appearance, the way that you approach the world and the way that you carry yourself. This is your 12th house of your mental health, your connection to the spiritual realms and your spiritual practices, your connections to your subconscious mind. This is going to be affecting your 11th house of your connection to society, social circles, your place within humanity, networking, your friend groups, and conjuncting North Node in your second house, which has to do with your income, your finances, the things that you value, and your assets. So just to say this in like a sentence or two or a few, basically these new changes, these new beginnings, and these new transformations that are happening with the way that you carry yourself, the way that you approach the world, and your appearance is going to be affecting the next 6 months of your life in a way that might not get the best, reactions from society, social media, social circles, or your friend groups, but it's something that you have to do because it's something that has to do with your spiritual purpose, or it's something that's going to just give you relief on a mental note. Like when it comes to your mental health, this is just a change that you have to make. Like you don't care how society sees you, you don't care how the world takes in this change. You have to do this for your spiritual mission or just for your mental health, and it is going to have an impact on your finances. Okay, so 50 minutes later, I am finally done. Let me know how you guys like these videos. I'm not going to be doing these for all 12 signs. That's just crazy. I'm doing it for the birthday people. So if it's your season, you're going to get this video. And then if I have any more time in the month, all other videos that I do like this for other signs, if it's not your birthday month, will go on the membership site. Okay, so let me know what you guys thought about this video, how you felt about it. And yeah, I'm going to log off. Make sure you subscribe, put a thumbs up, comment on the video, let me know what else you want to see. Subscribe to my membership site, get the Einstein tablets, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.